Yeah, no, this is actually extremely interesting. I mean, I haven't really delved into the platform so much.
Hmm.
And it is, honestly, it's a platform that nobody really talks about. Even, even with all of the people talking about marketing and stuff, like I'm in the marketing world for China, and nobody ever talks about Himalaya. Like we talk about Xiaohongshu and Douyin, which is popular. I get it. It's video. But like I feel like this is why I want you to be on this podcast. I feel like there's like a missed opportunity,
Hmm.
especially on the voice side of thing, right? And like very few people talks about that. Maybe in China they do talk about it a lot more, but it's really it's a small.
Hmm.
I just feel that people are missing sort of this opportunity.
I
Yeah.
think the reason, Steve, is because what we see in North America when it comes to content creation, and let's just call them an independent
Right.
creators, they're still somewhat lacking in China, especially when it comes to having a unique point of view. This is my opinion. This is my reflection while reading the book, or I feel like that is so somewhat limited, especially given the number of population in China.
Right.
And so there's well, we are among friends, and I have friends in China who have their WeChat platforms who are writing about education and are
Yeah.
very successful, but they are, sort of, they're not the majority. They're definitely the minority. And they tell me the trends that they have witnessed ahead of
Mm.
time, which is they notice that people in China tend to share, reshare, comments like, and people do not tend to create original content. Um,
Well, I'm at that I'm not 100% sure because China has like the biggest group of influence, well, KOLs, that's what they call it, Wang Hong, right, in the world.
mhm,
But you may be right. So, because it is a very, very noisy world, I really haven't delved into data.
mhm,
Um, but I mean, the thing I see it is the reason I don't personally I don't particularly like Douyin, even though I used it and I used it for like an hour just to
mhm,
see how it feels like, and
yeah.
it's addictive, right?
Mm,
But I think the app is built to be addictive. It's like it's for people. It's like constant shots of dopamines because you're just swiping from video to video to
yeah.
video to video to video, and that's like I don't know how healthy that is for your mind because you're
Mhm,
like just in constant. It's like channel surfing. Imagine if you're like having a remote and just constantly flipping the channel 24/7, try to
mhm,
figure out what you want to watch. And
mhm,
that's like a real killer. Where I think with Ximalaya, like you really have to listen to the episode, right? It's like you can't really surf through it. It's not like video where you can just sort of understand what this is about in like a few seconds and say, oh, do I want to watch or not? You really kind of have to listen to a bit to figure out whether you want to sort of listen to the rest of the episode or not.
Yeah, I
So
think you brought up a really good point. I want to kind of speak to that briefly, which is yes, on one hand, there are a lot of influencers in China and also, yes, in North America as well. A lot of young, good-looking people, like very young people we're talking about.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
starting now 12, 13 years old, and the majority of them that I have seen are, late teens and early 20s.
right.
But it's one thing to create content, to be one funny, silly, or for clicks and for downloads. I remember the first commercial that I saw and was, I think they even used this short video as the kind of a promo video when you download Douyin, which in English is TikTok. It
Yep.
is literally a girl pretending she's running through a window. The window is like
Hmm.
so clear and see through. She was running through it and kind of back and forth. I think that's one type of content creation. But when it comes to, writing books and having long form content,
Mm.
point of view, I feel like
Mm.
sometimes that's a little more difficult to discover. And that,
Right.
that's why I think Himalaya is a really great place for people to start their own podcast and be able to talk about, through their observations of what's going on in China and
Yeah.
worldwide.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I don't
Mm,
think that's just China. I think the world is sort of moving towards that. I think a lot of content are created for entertainment purposes, which is fine. I get it.
mm,
And people are getting shorter and shorter in terms of attention span because of YouTube. We're not just talking about China. China is like on a whole new different level because there's just so much stuff going on all the time. But,
mm,
people are not like before. They're not sitting through stuff. They're not going to pick up a book and read it and so on and so forth.
mm,
But yeah, I think it is lacking. It is lacking in terms of having real good writers. It is lacking in terms of having real people that are creatives in terms of that. So I get your point in terms of that.